Alright, how's it going? I'm that ginger photographer and this is part 3 on how to photograph your first wedding or just photographing your first few weddings in general. So if you haven't watched the first 2 videos, I'll leave a link in the description, but this video is going to be about photographing the evening reception at a wedding. So at the end of the last video we left off at, we've just photographed the speeches and now we're having a nice little break, and this is going to be everything from that point up until we're driving home. So I'm going to get straight into it. Swoosh, maybe? I don't even know if I have that effect. So as soon as dessert's been served, guests are having coffees, things like that, they might be moved to a different area. If they do get moved to a different area, it's usually because the staff are going to be cleaning up where they've had the meal. And if they're not going to a different area for the evening, the staff will be changing this room around. So it's always worth keeping an eye on that room, seeing once it's turned around, once it's completely finished, before the guests go back in and trash it, try and get some pictures of it set up for the evening room while it's empty and while it's looking all pretty and nice. While they do get moved out, if it's a nice sunny day, they might be hanging out outside. If it's winter, they might just be staying inside, but try and get some more pictures of guests mingling. They might be having drinks. At this point, they might have had a few sherbets already, so they might be doing shots at the bar. Anything like that that you can photograph. The party's probably going to start getting started at this point. There'll be some guests that go up to the room. They might want to freshen up. They might want to have a sleep. They might want to drink the drinks that they've snuck into the hotel because the prices are absurd. So whoever's left down here, get some pictures now of these guys mingling and just hanging out. And if it is a sunny day, there'll be people all over. There might be ball games going on. There might be kids playing outside if it's sunny. So get some pictures of that as well. Just make sure it'll be moving around a lot because there'll be stuff happening all over now. Now they've got a feel for the place, and the main part of the wedding's pretty much over at this point. People will be a lot more relaxed. The ties will be off. The jackets will be off. So it makes a big difference in the pictures. Can I get rid of that reflection? No. Yes. No. So on average, you've probably got about an hour, 2 hours before the evening reception starts now. If that room's getting turned around, it's probably going to take a little while. Or if they're going somewhere else, it's probably going to be about 1 hour, 2 hours before the cake cutting and the first dance and things like that happen. So this is a perfect opportunity to get some more couples pictures in different light. The sun might have started going down, so you can get some sunset pictures. If it's probably dark, like it's the middle of December, it might be worthwhile getting something like sparkler pictures, anything like that. You might want to practice some off-camera flash. So you can use this time now to get some different couples pictures. You can mix it up with the lighting so all the wedding portraits don't look all the same during the day. When they deliver the pictures, they'll have a good mix of images in different lighting, and you haven't done anything fancy. All you've done is waited a couple of hours between pictures and the lighting's going to be completely different. So use this time to your advantage. Get 20-30 minutes with the couple, take them for a walk, take them out in your car if you drive, if there's a beach nearby, anything like that, and get this different lighting. For me, about 70% of my weddings take place during like the spring, summer. So at this time of evening, the sun's starting to get low, and this is a perfect time for me to get sunset pictures. Even if it's still quite high, you can crouch down low and still get that sun behind them or peeking around them and get some sun flare through the trees. So use this time to your advantage and think about what types of pictures you'd like to get at this point. If you've still got some light to play with at this point, I would also ask the couple if there's any more group pictures to do. There might be some friends or family pictures that they didn't get earlier, or they might have just forgotten about, or they might have been running out of time. And you can use this time now to get those pictures. People might be covered in red wine and gravy if they're anything like me, but they'll probably be a lot more relaxed at this point, especially bridesmaids and groomsmen. So if you do want to, use this time and go and get some more group pictures with those, because you'll probably get some really fun pictures that you'll absolutely love, purely because they'll have all had a drink. So in between, while all this is going on, I go and make friends with people like the DJ or the band or the evening staff. I get them on my side straight away because if I need anything from them or if I need to know anything, I can go and talk to them. So I go and have a chat with the DJ or the band, whoever's setting up. If there's been a change of staff, if the wedding planner's now a different person for the night, I'll go and have a chat with them and see what's going on, see how they're doing. Just make friends really, be a nice person, because they'll probably want to use your pictures anyway after all of this. So it makes sense to get talking to them now. So while this room's still empty, whether they're turning it around or whether they're moving it to a different room, while it's still empty and while the guests aren't really in here yet, nobody's dancing yet, this is a perfect opportunity to set up things like off-camera flash if you want to use off-camera flash. It's also a great opportunity to scout some locations where you want to stand. Anything like that, set it up now so that you're not setting it up in a rush later on. Get it set up now. Check that it's working, see the results that you're getting, then turn everything off to save your batteries. Then later on when everybody's on the dance floor, all you have to do is come in, turn everything back on, and away you go. There's no setting things up, there's no faffing on with settings, everything's just ready to go already. So the next thing that would usually happen at this point is the first dance and the cake cut would happen. This usually happens about 7:30, 8 o'clock, just going off experience. So at this point, all the guests will be called inside and the bride and groom, or the bride and bride, groom and groom, they're usually announced in. So if you go in with the guests, stand somewhere nice where you can see the entrance and get some nice pictures of the couple being announced in. They'll walk through all the guests, usually to the cake cutting. That's normally done first before the dancing. Sometimes it's the other way around, it doesn't really matter, but they'll walk through. So if you can stand somewhere near the cake, it usually helps your pictures because they're going to be coming towards you. After the cake cutting, staff will usually take that straight out, and then you're left with the couple on the dance floor ready to have the first dance if they're having one. It's not always, but 90% of the time they usually do. So for this, if the lighting's really nice, I won't use any flash. Sometimes I'll use off-camera flash if it's a bit of a dark venue. Either way, I'll have already had that set up if I need to. If not, I'll already have dialed in the settings, ready to go for that. So get your first dance pictures, and partway through, guests are probably going to join them on the dance floor. Now personally, I don't just photograph the first dance and leave. Some photographers I know, they'll photograph the first dance, they'll stay for 1 or 2 songs and then they go. For me, I don't usually have a time limit on my wedding photography. So if the first dance has happened and the guests have joined in, and then after the first dance, the dance floor's completely empty again, I'll still hang about for about half an hour. If nobody's dancing at that point, it's probably a sign that nobody's going to be dancing from then on. Guests are probably starting to get sick of seeing the camera at that point. So at that point, I'll probably start packing up because there's nothing else to really get photographs of. And you'll just be getting repetitive photos that you're probably not going to deliver anyway because you've already got these pictures earlier on and nothing new's happening. If everybody's just stood about talking, there's only so much of that you can photograph. If on the other hand though, which happens at a lot of weddings, everybody just stays on the dance floor, I'll just stay. Like I said, I don't really have a time limit on most weddings, so I'll just stay until like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock sometimes because I'm having such a good time and because everybody's just going crazy. As long as they're not sick of the camera, I don't see any problem with me staying, and the couple are happy because they're getting more pictures and everybody's usually either relaxed or drunk at this point, and it makes for some really good pictures. It also means that if you're there for another 2 hours, you get to take part in the evening food, which is always a bonus. So if everybody's on the dance floor doing shots, make sure you just get loads of pictures of that. I've got a video here, I'm sure this is the right side. I've got a video here about using flash on the dance floors at weddings, which is an absolutely great video if you're not sure what to do and how to use flash on dance floors. So check that out if you want some tips. So I will just get in people's faces and I will just get loads of pictures of the party happening. As it starts to get dark, or if it's already dark at this point, the couples might be doing group sparkler pictures, or we might go outside for some more couples pictures again. It might be 10 o'clock at night and they might be absolutely wasted at this point, but who cares? It all makes for great pictures, and they usually love those later on pictures because they're drunk and relaxed and fun, and they've got used to me at this point, they've got used to having the picture taken at this point, so they usually love because those pictures are what they really like. So just use all this time on the evening that you've got, use it for yourself as well. If there's anything that you want to practice or try, you've got hours on the evening where there's not really a schedule anymore. Once that cake cutting and first dance is done, you've not got really anything else to worry about. All you've got to think about is when you want to leave. So anything that you want to practice and try, do it at this point. And another thing I'd add as well is just generally practice with dance floor pictures. If something doesn't look quite right in camera, just change your settings and go at it again. You've got no pressure on here whatsoever. If everybody's dancing, you can just be walking amongst them. You don't have to stay at the edges of the dance floor. You can get in amongst it, try all your different flash settings, try your shutter drag, try your zoom flash, try your off-camera flash if you want to try it. If they don't work out, nobody's going to remember you taking them, because you'll just be taking hundreds of pictures on the dance floor. So nobody's going to specifically say, have you got that picture of me doing that shot while I'm absolutely wrecked on the dance floor? So I've got 2 tips here if you're not staying for the exit. If the wedding's over and you are staying for the exit and you're doing anything like sparkler exit or lightsaber exit, which I've had before, it can be a little bit of hard work trying to get drunk people to line up in 2 lines. It sounds easy now, of course it does, but if you're trying to control 80 people with sparklers, it can be a little bit hard work, so just be prepared for that. If you're not staying for the exit, my 2 pieces of advice are, if you're going, let them know you're going. Don't just leave. Don't just sneak off into the night. It'll be noticed. They'll wonder where you are. So just let them know that you're going. I've seen suppliers do it. If they want to do that, that's okay. But for me, I always let them know I'm going. And my other piece of advice is, when I'm going, I ask them if there's any pictures that they need before I go. I would hate the next day for them to message me saying, oh no, we didn't get a picture with my granddad. So at this point, I ask them if there's any pictures that they need or want or they've forgotten about before I leave. One, it means that if there's anything that they've forgotten about, we can do it now, wherever that might be. It might be inside, it might be outside with a flash, whatever it is. It might be a family picture they forgot. We can do it now, and it's not too late for that. And the second reason that I do that is it takes the pressure off me that if anything is missed on the day, obviously touch wood that it doesn't happen, but if we do miss any pictures, at least I've asked before I leave. So I always ask before I leave, is there any other pictures that we need to do before I go? And lastly, after the wedding, my biggest piece of advice is on your way home is double cheeseburger, large fries, banana milkshake. Can't go wrong with that. So that is pretty much all there is to photographing an evening wedding reception. If there's anything you think I've missed out, or if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll answer you. In the next video, I'll be covering everything like getting home, backing up, charging. You might have another wedding the next day, so backing up your cards, how to prepare for that. You're probably going to be knackered, so you need to wind down. And I'll be going through my whole process on editing, delivering my images. I personally use these wooden boxes with prints and a USB. I give them an online gallery, so that'll all be covered in the next video as well. It'll be my complete process from getting home on that night, backing up through to delivering the pictures, and afterwards as well. So if you found this video useful, I would absolutely love it if you could like it. If you want to subscribe, that'd be amazing, but that's up to you, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you, bye.